Hello everyone, this is Kelly and I'd like to welcome you back for day 2 of the Summer Stems release. All these products that you see today will be available on June 15th at honeybeestamps.com. The first stamp set is called My Favorite Flower. This is a beautiful sentiment set that's going to look great with all of our new florals. We have sentiments like, if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. Picked just for you. You make my heart blossom. You're such a blessing in my life. Your thoughtfulness is a gift I will always treasure. And then there's a little hello and thank you. And these sentiments are a beautiful font and great size, so they can either go on the front of your card or they'd be great on the inside of your cards as well. There is a coordinating die set that goes along with this sentiment set. It cuts out every one of those awesome sentiments. The next stamp set is called Miss You Big Time. I am in love with the fonts on all of these really large sentiments. These look so great on an ink blended background or something like that to be the star of the front of your card. We have miss you, thank you, sorry, best wishes, happy birthday, and love you. And then of course there are lots of little mix and match greetings that you can pair along with the larger sentiment. There is a coordinating die set that's going to cut out every one of those large sentiments. So all 6 of those large sentiments have a coordinating die. Super fun to stamp, heat emboss, do all different types of techniques, and then use those coordinating dies to cut those out and add those onto your cards. The next set is Wildflowers, this beautiful stamp set with a mix of great florals. You can see here we have greenery stems, even some that look like ferns, and all different types of flowers. There are even a couple of bees and a couple of butterflies. I'm in love with these beautiful floral images. I'm going to turn this around so we can get a look at all of those flowers. I just love these. Some of them have the little buds. So much fun to color, watercolor, and create some really fantastic floral cards with the wildflower stamp set. Now there's a coordinating die set that goes along with the wildflowers, and it's going to cut out every piece of that stamp set, including all the cute little bees and the butterflies, so you can just create the most beautiful wildflower garden for your card projects. Now here's a card that I created using the Wildflowers stamps and coordinating dies. I just stamped and watercolored my flower there, as you can see on the side. I added some of our garden tool die cuts that are from a previous release and also our layering pockets. And I just love that little wildflower there to the side of the pocket. Now next up is a lovely layers edition, and this is the cone flower die set. As you can see, this is a large die set and it makes the most beautiful layered cone flower. So as you can see on each one of these dies, there is a cut line all the way around the edge and then beautiful embossed detail that when you run your cardstock through your die machine, it's going to both cut and then emboss those little details. So this is awesome. I'm going to make a card with this set at the end of this video. Now next is a brand new floral called Framed Anemones, and this was hand drawn by Emily Midget. You can see the beautiful frame around the edges and then those beautiful anemones and leaves on the inside of that frame. There's also some great sentiments like congrats, thanks, hello, friend, hugs, miss you, and love you. So great to place up there, maybe in the top right hand corner or down towards the bottom inside your florals. Now there is a coordinating die set that goes along with this stamp set, and it's going to cut out all of those little greetings, so it makes it super easy to stamp those and add those either up in the corner as I mentioned before, or pop that right above your florals. Now here's another card that I've created using that framed anemones stamp set. So I have used the stamp, I did some watercoloring on there and added a little bit of gel pen for the center of the flowers, and then added that love you in the corner of the card. Now this is our beautiful Summer Stems paper pad envelope and gem collection we have here. You can see the beautiful summery colors in the 6x6 inch paper pad. There's also the gems and envelopes, which we'll get to in just a second, but let's do a little flip through of this paper pad. So there's beautiful navy florals and navy polka dots, some beautiful watercolor florals that I just love and I hate to cut up and use. I want to hoard all of the paper. I love this beautiful blue and white, and there's a green gingham, a green on green dot, so beautiful tone on tone for a subtle background. There's also a green vine, and then we go into kind of this pinky eggplant paper. There's some watercolor there that goes from an orangey yellow into a pink, and then again with tone on tone and kind of a purpley pink eggplant color. Just beautiful colors for summer. There's a pink gingham and then a beautiful pink watercolor floral. I love that one, so beautiful. Next is an orange gingham and then an orange with a white little speck. So cute. Next up is another kind of tone on tone with some fun geometrics, kind of that melon color with a darker color on top. And this is a really dark red with a red on top. We have some more ombres, some watercolor stripes, and even a text background that is charcoal wording, so charcoal gray on a really light gray cardstock, and it's beautiful for a subtle background. There's another kind of a tone on tone with some fun geometrics, and then a lacy design, beautiful for wedding cards. And then I love these papers that add the little sentiments, so you can cut those out in strips. Use those as the sentiments on your card, or you could use that whole piece of paper as a background. So lots of fun there. I love that Honeybee Stamps and Melissa is including these great sentiment papers in our paper pads. And then we're back to the beginning, that beautiful navy floral. So let's do one more little flip through so you can get a look at all these beautiful, bright, summery colors. Everything from greens to blues and pinks and purples, oranges, and then of course those sentiments at the back. Such beautiful, fun papers. I love that text cardstock and the lacy white. And then of course, I love the sentiment paper. Now let's take a look at our coordinating envelopes. So these perfectly match that paper pad. There is a self-adhesive strip, so all you have to do is pull off that little backing paper and then those will adhere. So you can see that beautiful pink watercolor. On the inside of this eggplant one is that really beautiful text paper. Here's kind of a fun ombre with the lace on the inside. Here's kind of an orangey pink ombre with the beautiful orange little speck on the inside. Here's the watercolor with a floral on the inside. The pink and white stripe with a dark red on the inside. There's that beautiful tone on tone geometric with the pink and white on the inside. Green gingham. And then there is the green ivy or green leaves on the inside of that one. Here's a green ombre with that beautiful navy floral on the inside. The blue and white floral, and then the blue and white polka dot on the inside. So that is a look at all of our paper pad and the coordinating envelopes. And then let's take a look at the beautiful gems that go right along with all of these beautiful colors. So in each of these gem packages, there are 300 adhesive gems. And those gems are going to pull out all the colors, both from that 6x6 inch paper pad and the envelopes. So if you like all of your things to kind of coordinate and go together, then this is perfect to grab all 3 of these, and then you know every time you pick up those papers, they're going to coordinate and match perfectly and look great together. Next, we have an exciting new addition to our Be Creative collection of Honeybee Stamps branded products. So these are our reverse tweezers. This is just what they look like when they come to you in the packaging. And they are nice black tweezers. They are curved at the end and come to a really nice fine point. They have great little white grips on the side. These are really strong, nice tweezers. You can see our cute little Be Creative logo there on the end. So if you like to use these to heat emboss, to pick up gems, anything, these are going to be a staple on my desk, and I think that you would enjoy them as well. Now next is my card project for today. I am using the brand new Lovely Layers cone flower. So I have the 4 die cuts that are used to make the actual blooms. I have 2 leaves cut, and then I have the little topper or the cone part of the flower. Now I have cut 2 layers, the bottom 2 layers in the same color of cardstock, and then the next layer in a little bit of a lighter color, and the top layer is the lightest. Now I'm simply going to darken up those embossed lines. This is just something a little extra. You do not have to do this. Just laying your cardstock would be beautiful by itself. But I'm just going to take my pencils. You can also just cut these out of white cardstock and use your Distress Oxides or your Distress inks and your ink blenders to blend on different variations of color. That would be beautiful. You could do watercolor paper and make your petals a little messy. So the sky's the limit here really when you're designing your little cone flower. I just simply wanted to add a little bit of deeper definition into those embossed lines with my colored pencils. Now these are super easy to line up, and I'm going to show you exactly how to line these up and get everything adhered together. Now I did add a little bit of extra color and definition onto the little top of the cone with kind of an orangey, burnt orange colored pencil. And then I also did the same thing to the leaves. I just took a little bit darker of a colored pencil and traced and went almost all the way to the tip of the leaf inside the veins. And then to add just a little bit of extra shading, I did add some darker colored pencil right towards the bottom. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this. I just added a little bit of messy shading down there just to give it a little bit of personality and look and color variation in there to the bottom of that leaf. Now I've got all my pieces ready to go, and so I'm going to show you now how easy this is to put together. Now when I'm building florals and things like this, I love to use my Be Creative Precision Tip Glue pen because a liquid glue is going to allow you to kind of move and wiggle everything around before the glue sets up. So the first petal I'm going to line up is the one on the far left side. And then I'm going to take the next piece. I'm adding glue just to the cone part of the flower, and I'm lining up this time the second petal. And you can see I'm kind of squeezing everything into place, making sure that the petals line up. Again, I'm adding glue only to the cone part of the flower. And then for the next layer, I'm lining up the third petal on the left. So super easy, 1, 2, 3, and then everything is adhered and lined up. Now next I can do the cone part, so I'm going to put the dark brown, and it's super easy just to line up those little spikes and things around the edge of that little cone. And then I'm going to add an orange top. And you're going to be able to see the brown center that kind of peek around the edges just a little bit, and then also in the little cutout on the top of my little flower. Now I like my flowers and my petals to stand out, so I'm going to bend those up just a little bit. And you can see all the dimension and all the fun layers on that. Next, I am going to build up my layered card base. I'm taking some of our brand new pattern paper, that is the orange gingham, and I'm layering that onto just a piece of coordinating pink cardstock that's the same color as a couple of those layers in my flower. I'm adhering this to a 5 by 7-inch white card base. I wanted lots of room because I'm going to actually add 3 completed cone flowers onto the front of my card. So you can see all 3 of these created in the exact same way as I showed you with the one before. And I'm just going to kind of almost stack these 3 up or layer them, stacked one on top of the other, right down the left side of my card. So I'm going to add this last one in, just kind of interlocking and intertwining those little petals, if I can get it in there. And then make sure that liquid glue is nicely pressed down. Everything is kind of wiggled around where I want it. And now I can start adding the leaves. So I can just tuck them in here and there, gently lifting up my little flower blooms. And I decided to change out the leaf for maybe a smaller one. There you go. That's another fun thing about using liquid glue, because it does give you time to change your mind. And then I'm just going to get these all pressed into place, kind of lifting up the edges of the flowers and then sliding them right underneath all those layers. I'm going to add one more little leaf. And then we'll move on to our sentiment. So again, I'm going to lift up the layers. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see right there to the edge. And add one more leaf there to that center flower. Okay, so now I am working on my sentiment, and this comes from that brand new large sentiment set called Miss You Big Time, and I chose to add the Love You onto the front of this cone flower card. So as you can see, I'm using my Versamark sticky ink, adding that onto just some white cardstock, and I am covering that with Ranger Liquid Platinum embossing powder. You can see I had a little boo-boo over there where some of that embossing powder stuck to the cardstock. I just used that dry paintbrush. You can kind of see it over there onto the right side, and just gently push that away before I heat set that sentiment. So now you can see that super beautiful glossy Love You. I'm taking the coordinating die and I'm going to get right over the top of that die and line up all the letters. You can see my head kind of poking in there. Tape everything down, run that through my die machine, and then I have my beautiful scripty heat embossed Love You. Now I did use that coordinating die to cut a couple more layers just out of white cardstock, so I could kind of stack these together to have a dimensional sentiment. So you could just use one layer if you wanted to, or if you want a little bit of dimension without having to add little bits of foam tape, you could always just use your coordinating dies and some scraps of cardstock to stack those together and make your sentiment a little more dimensional. So now I am using my liquid glue and pressing down that Love You, just kind of nestling it right in there next to my cone flowers. And then to finish this card off, I'm going to take our brand new Summer Stems Adhesive Gems. Perfectly matches that cardstock and the envelopes, and there is a beautiful gem here that looks perfect with that liquid platinum embossing powder. It's almost kind of a champagne color, and I'm just going to use my pen blade and kind of pop these here and there just to add a little sparkle, a little interest there right around my little sentiment. Now here is the finished card with the lovely layers cone flower and our Miss You Big Time stamp set and die set. All of these products will be available at honeybeestamps.com on June the 15th, and I hope you'll come back to join me tomorrow for day 3. See you then!